I really should have done my research before recording this, but I'm a little bit lazy. It's very late, and I've been trying to get this video out for 3 months, so I'm just gonna go right off the tongue and see what comes up. One of the things I appreciate about shows like Spectacular Spider-Man, Batman the Animated Series, and Avatar The Last Airbender is how they appeal to a wide variety of people. While they may have been created as a Saturday morning cartoon, they work towards being more than just a kid's show. And there's this comic series I've been reading that shares this universal demographic style of writing. Its characters and its storytelling really are for anybody, and that's Clown Corpse. Clown Corpse is a comic about an organization where clowns act as cops who catch criminals by non-lethal means. They use a plethora of devices and gadgets like pie gloves that teleport pies at the snap of a finger, confetti guns, and my personal favorite, an umbrella that does not defy any laws of physics whatsoever. The main character is Mary McBell, and she's currently enrolled in this training facility called Clown College, and while she's there, her and her friends get into a bunch of different clown-related antics, and a bunch of other characters get the spotlight during the comic, which is really nice because a lot of these character designs are really unique. You see, we have this evil guy called Ringmaster, who would be awesome if he was played by Mark Hamill, and I really think that his voice would be very good for him. No, it's not because he played the Joker. It is literally just because I think Mark Hamill can do a very interesting, creepy voice. Okay, maybe it's a little bit of the Joker. And we actually do get into the lore about why everybody is dressed like a clown and why they do what they do. And for today, I just wanted to talk a little bit about some of the things I noticed in the comic that really stood out to me. Some are just little things, some are general things. I'm just going to keep going down the line. So let's get into it. One of the things I appreciate about this comic is how it handles color palettes. Having a recognizable color palette for each character is very important, and you can clearly see that going on a lot in this comic. And you can pretty much add whatever color you want, considering that at the end of the day, as long as they have those white gloves and a red nose, it's pretty much a clown. But the creator didn't just throw colors at the wall, unless he did. I actually don't know the creative process for making characters. To put it bluntly, the palettes are really good. For instance, one of my favorite characters is Agent Mustard. She has this mustard yellow and ketchup red, I think it's supposed to be ketchup red, as an accent color, and it really works with her costume. It's a small variety that really blends together quite well, and it actually shows a bit more of who Mustard is as a character. She's a more experienced agent that also doesn't mind being stylish. And what's interesting is how McBell was designed. Now, a lot of the original sketches were done in black and white, so I'm not entirely sure if this was his plan or not, but Joe did kind of draw a little bit of what Mustard had and gave it to McBell in a really interesting way. This is just speculation, but the red and yellow on McBell's trousers could represent how Mustard is kind of a mentor figure in the story. Her blue wig is also a really easy identifying mark whenever she's in a crowd scene. The wig kind of also represents her friendship with Fuchsia, considering how Fuchsia gave her the wig in the first place. The black and white striped shirt kind of also could represent, her being a bit different. I know that sometimes in media, stripes have been used to show a bit of rebellion or separation from a main group. McBell is also a standout for a number of reasons, considering that she doesn't really have an identified persona, and she also has trouble with coming up with a routine or a name for a routine.
Hey guys, Post-Edit Dev here. I realized I didn't explain what a routine was. To put it really simply, a routine is just a super move or a super ability. Think of Pegasus's Star Blast attack from Beyblade or Goku's Kamehameha. Those could be a little bit overpowered compared to what is going on in this comic, but it's the same idea.
And even her clown name doesn't really exist. I'm pretty sure it's just Persona Unidentified or something like that. And this really interesting color scheme and just general character design goes for all the characters in the comic. Binky is a really big standout. He's pretty much this huge dude who looks like the Joker. He's a really cool character, probably one of my favorites in the whole comic. Fuchsia has a really interesting design. I really like how they put, like, you know, the kind of half suit together, and then she just has this humongous pink hair. I don't really know what the type of hair that is. Even the Dean has this nice blue and orange going on, and eventually he goes from this business look to rolling up his sleeves because he has to fight with his balloon animal things. And there's a ton of characters that you get barely any dialogue for, but they look just like super interesting. Like, you could make a show off of them, or a comic off of them, or a complete storyline just off of them. This also ties into the next thing that I wanted to talk about, which was the humor of the comic. Now, I am not a humor aficionado. I don't do humor well. I'm horrible at making jokes. But, just like a child, I will point at something and laugh at it. So, that's what I'm gonna do now. And I mean, it kind of makes sense considering that the comic's about clowns, and clowns are supposed to be funny. But there's a lot of little somber moments between the jokes and the visual gags, which, side note about the visual gags, Mustard, Binky, and McBell have some of the best reactions in this entire comic. Their faces are like, just, it's like the Mario 64 face sometimes. Like, you can just do it however, and it just will always look funny. And it's in these little somber moments, in between, again, the jokes, that things get really interesting for the characters. There's something really compelling about just seeing two clowns get in an argument over a dead loved one, or finding your place in the world. Sure, it has a cartoony art style, so it's going to be taken a little bit less serious than, let's say, a real-life clown talking about real-life problems, Joker. But just the visuals and the dramatic scenes kind of work together in an interesting way that you wouldn't think would work. And the way that Joe does punchline, it's really art sometimes. You have these clowns, and it's just really interesting because they're delivering punchlines, but you'll realize that there's subtext behind that, and you're like, whoa, that's kind of deep. It's also interesting because the dark moments of the comic aren't really like dark, like, for instance, it's not like the Joker dark. They just are kind of characters at a low point, and I really like that because it doesn't feed on the idea of like, oh, clowns are dark. Even when you're reading chapter 1, like, it's immediately clear like who these clowns are, what they do, the kind of world they're living in. Like, it's all set up, and even again in the first chapter you get to learn more about how the Clown Corps came to be, but you never necessarily get an info dump. It's just kind of just some general things referenced among common knowledge by the people in the story, but we don't get to know a lot of specifics. There's just a lot of lore barriers sometimes, not in the bad way, but in a good way. The secrets are being kept generally well, and it's also not that well known of a comic, so you don't have as many people trying to pry away at what's going on in the story. And although we're already like halfway through the main story, there's still so much that's going on that we just do not understand yet. But yeah, these are just a few of my thoughts about Clown Corps. If you want to read it, clowncorps.net. I really like this comic. I really hope that this will not only go to fans who already have read the comic, but also people who might not have gotten a chance to check it out yet. Joe is an incredible artist. He has a Twitter, he has an Instagram, and he also has a Patreon if you want to go support him. But yeah, go check Joe out, go check out the comic, and please, if you are also trying to talk to people about this, we have a Discord. Please join it. We have so little members, nothing's really going on, waiting on you guys. You can follow me if you want. I'm probably gonna make more content like this, maybe? But yeah, I guess I'll see you guys next time. Peace.